We have heard, of course, there was an attack at the Dusit Hotel in January on the 15th. And of course, what came to mind was if they were not using conventional weapons, because the question about a chemical attack is not if, but when it will happen. So these radical elements around East Africa and in Kenya really are the greatest threat to the region as such. The academia has been involved largely in reaching out to the chemical players in Kenya and in East Africa, particularly Somalia. And this has not only covered talking to the academics who deal with chemicals on a day-to-day basis, but they've also reached out to industry and taught them best practices in terms of how to protect their facilities that deal with chemicals. However, they have also talked to the informal sector, which is very large in Kenya and in Somalia. They've talked to them about these dual-use chemicals and how to keep them safe away from the hands of these radicalized elements in the region. They have also gone a long way in trying to talk to the first responders on how do they actually deal with incidences where we have a chemical attack, so that they're always prepared to respond. And finally, the academia has gone a long way in talking to the people who actually trade in chemicals, especially the suppliers of chemicals, and informing them that some of the chemicals that they are supplying could be benign in nature, but of course combined with other things can actually be very dangerous weapons. Now, the law enforcers, of course, will not work in a vacuum. They work in an environment that involves people who they are protecting. Now, their job becomes hard if the people they are protecting are not aware of some of the dangers that chemicals would actually result in. And working with Kenya Chemical Society, we bring together not just academics but industry players, and we are in interaction with the cottage industry. We are in contact with farmers, for example, who are dealing with fertilizers and all sorts of chemicals that could actually be weaponized. So law enforcement, in this case, can benefit from these interactions where we bring them together with the other community that we are in interaction with, and they can also now give their perspective on how to approach trying to minimize the use of chemicals being used to attack the populations in Kenya or in East Africa as such. Also, in our engagements with the law enforcement, we've come into conversations with them in terms of how can we help them in terms of disseminating information that they think is not so sensitive and will not cause a security risk to our members and the industry at large. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to get your institution email address from the student portal. You need to access the official Technical University of Kenya website. So you come and search for the Technical University of Kenya. Click on this first link to access the official Technical University of Kenya website. Then click on the students portal link just above in the green here. Then click on login. Then input your registration number as your username and your national ID number as your password. Then log into the portal. As you can see now, after opening the portal, The email address is displayed in green and the password is just below it. For those whose account does not display the institution email address, send a request for creation to ict.students.tukenya.ac.ke for the email creation, and please ensure you include your registration number and full names. Thank you.
Starting and growing a small business. Design 40, as we speak right now, has been in existence for about 12 years. We did not wake up one day and decide now we are going to an office, we're going to make calls, we're going to be interior designers. It started as a hobby. You make some small gift items and then people like them, you're giving to your friends, your girlfriends, they like them. And then it became a business. I was able to do this and propel me to say now I can get into what I'm doing today. Remember, I did not get a chance to get employed as an interior designer so I can get experience and then move out. This is where we are now. The first thing that everybody thinks about is lack of the capital that you need. The other thing is lack of conviction. Should I go for employment? Should I do business? Should I go for further studies? When you begin your business, you're a jack of all trades. You are the designer, you are the driver. If you are fortunate enough to have a car, you are everything basically. How are you going to handle all this? And you're going to swim with the whales and with the crocodiles of the trade at that time. How do you counter these challenges? Because they come. Number one, a very critical thing. If you are thinking to ever getting into business, you must think about developing a very, very good business plan. The other thing is that it's important to be patient when you're in business. Things do not happen like this. If you're not patient, because there are a lot of trials, there are a lot of things that will come to you, you're going to become frustrated.
We had to look at exactly what is it that we want to be known for in Design 40. What's our market? What's our target market? Because before I could tell you we used to do anything and everything. But one thing that has made us stand out today is just being consistent. Consistent in what you are doing. That people will always, even the client that you have done for like 5 years ago, when they're expanding, they don't even think twice. They'll actually call you. So consistency in business is very, very key. We also ensure that there are lasting relationships that are kept with these clients after the project is done. And we do this through what we call the after-sales service.
We go to the next chapter, which is managing your business. We are assuming now you are not hiding. You have to register yourself for statutory requirements. You must be recognized as a business in this country. When you're managing your business, another key thing is managing the resources. Resources being people, finances, and time. In business, you'll make money today, tomorrow you'll not make money. So how do you manage that money that comes? And I'll give you a metaphor using a river. Money is like a river. It has to flow. It flows from me to you. But what does it do when it flows from me as it goes wherever it goes? That makes the difference. You also have to be creative in the way that you're advertising yourself. It is very critical and it is very important that when you're doing any business in today's world, that you keep your brand visible. Finally, you have to take care of your customers. This is important. Without taking care of your customers, you'll not survive. And I'll say it with a lot of vigor because I know how important that one is.
The Technical University of Kenya is one of the main vocational training institutions in the country.
As one of the leading education centers, the university attracts a large number of student enrollments. These large numbers have, however, put a strain on the institution's limited learning resources. But a recently launched project between AVIC International and the Kenya government to supply state-of-the-art equipment to vocational institutions in Kenya is gradually having an impact on the learning process.
Before the equipment, we still had some equipment, but they were not sufficient enough.
This lack of equipment in the past sparked criticism that most graduates from these institutions were unqualified for the demands of the job market. The collaboration between AVIC International and these institutions offers a platform for practical learning and for students to embrace technical skills development.
As you can see here, we have about 21 sets of CNC machines. In the other lab also we have another set of conventional machines that came in through this collaboration.
While on a tour of the institute, AVIC International chairperson and chief executive said that through the collaboration with Kenyan institutions, AVIC International would share the industrialization experience of China and add to the local culture.
Kenya 是一个年轻的国家，其中70%以上的人口
Kenya is a young country with more than 70% of its population aged under 35. These young people are in urgent need of vocational training. Kenya's Vision 2030 aims to transform the country into a newly industrializing middle-income country. To realize this also requires a number of youth qualified with professional skills. Seeing China's experiences in the development of past decades and also in vocational education, we found that skills in mechanics as well as electronic and electric fields are the most important in industrial development. That's why we want to cooperate with the Kenyan side.
Beyond the mechanical equipment, AVIC International is also offering vocational skills training in the hope that it will improve the job skills of the local youth and promote the combination of production and learning.
With this, we were able to make a wide array of basically parts. We can make spare parts for vehicles. We can make spare parts for plants. Basically, plants includes factories. Sometimes you may have a broken down part that needs maintenance or replacement. We can come and do it here. So basically, we are talking, we can, you name it. You see a part, we can do it.
With these machines, right now, I'm able to design something. I am able to design something using a software. This is SolidCam part, and I generate the codes and come machine it in using the same machines.
Well, so far, about 92 mechanical engineering machines have been installed in this technical institution. And thanks to the partnership between AVIC and Kenya, the students here are now able to locally manufacture such products. These products could soon be exported to other countries, a major milestone in actualizing Kenya's Vision 2030. Susan Mungeli, CCTV in Nairobi, Kenya.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to access the e-learning platform of the Technical University of Kenya as a student using your Android phone and the institutional assigned email. First and foremost, you will need to download a web browser called Firefox from the Android Play Store. So we'll proceed and download that. Android Play Store, look for Firefox. Install it. It will take some time, so let's just be a bit patient. There we are. We'll then proceed to the e-learning platform. The simplest way would be through the Technical University of Kenya website.
One, two,
we'll go and open Firefox.
1, 2. Check 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Then proceed
1,
to
2,
the
1, 2,
Technical
1,
University
2,
of Kenya
2.
website.
Hello, 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 2.
Click on the first link. You'll then, it will then display the Technical University of Kenya website. Here, You'll then proceed to the e-learning platform. The link is at the top green part of the website, written e-learning portal. So you'll proceed by tapping on it. And here we are at the Technical University of Kenya e-learning platform. So as a student, you'll be required to log in using the link provided there. That is a student login link. You tap on it. You then load you where you're supposed to input your email address, the one that has been assigned by the Technical University of Kenya. So you input your email. You then go ahead and put in your password. If you are a first-time login, you'll definitely have to just accept this. Remember, these terms will only appear when you are doing the very first login. Subsequent login, you won't have to go through this. And here you are. You will have now logged in at the Technical University of Kenya e-learning platform. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to enroll yourself to the Health Education course unit once you have logged into the Technical University of Kenya e-learning platform. First step, you navigate site home, which is over here. Then on the search space provided, you type and search for Health Education. Then you search. Then scroll down to find the course, which is this one, Health Education UCCC 1201, and tap it. Then scroll down and note down the enrollment key that corresponds to your course. And for example, if you are pursuing Bachelor of Technology Geoinformatics, the enrollment key is ESEI/2020P. You should note it down. Then just below the enrollment key, there is a space for a text box for entering the enrollment key. You just type it there. After you type it there, then just below you click on Enroll Me, and that's how it's done. Thank you.
Since 1903, when the Wright brothers flew the first aircraft, the aviation industry has grown in leaps and bounds. The insufficiency of qualified engineers to maintain and invent new aircraft models is being experienced the world over, and Africa is no exception.
Aeronautical engineering is one of the oldest areas of engineering today, and one of the best established to the extent that we have had aircraft flying. There's been a need for engineers to look, first of all, after the aircraft that are flying in terms of maintenance, and then to design and manufacture new aircraft.
Over the years, there have been tremendous increase in the need for air travel for both passengers, cargo, and general commercial goods across the continents, across many cities in the world. And on a typical day, millions of aircraft hours are spent traversing the globe in all directions.
The Technical University of Kenya is the only regional institution of higher learning offering aeronautical engineering at undergraduate level.
In Kenya, we are the first university to offer degree programs in aeronautical engineering. And this is based on the tradition of this institution when it was a Kenya Polytechnic, that it always offered programs in aircraft maintenance engineering. And it is out of this program that we created the aeronautical engineering program at the degree level, I think beginning with 2011.
The uniqueness of the aeronautical engineering program, which is run at the Technical University of Kenya, originate with 2 points. One in technology, the second origin of that complexity or uniqueness originates with the industry.
And what is aeronautical engineering? Aeronautical engineering is a 6-year degree program that is all about how planes work, what gets them off the ground, what keeps them there, what allows them to turn and accelerate, to gain and lose altitude.
The aircraft technologically must be very complex. It is very complex. If you can imagine an aircraft flying 8,000 kilometers and with no navigational aids at visual navigation aids at 40,000 feet, sometimes at night, one can appreciate that this machine can fly that high and also fly in the dark, so to speak, from one continent to the next. So the level of technology must be sophisticated enough to be able for that to happen. So you'll find that you need to learn as a student, for example, things like aerodynamics, for example, the structure of the aircraft, the navigation and communication aids that will allow this heavy machine, so to speak, carrying hundreds of passengers and cargo from one continent to the next, from one airport, like JFK to Nairobi, here in Kenya.
Areas topics cover in aeronautical and aviation engineering include design, construction, propulsion, material science, navigation systems, avionics, aerodynamics, and air traffic control management.
The aeronautical engineering program, first of all, is treated like any other engineering program that is offered in this country and indeed elsewhere in the world. Typically, to be admitted into an engineering program anywhere in the world, you need good grades in the sciences, and particularly in mathematics and physics and chemistry and other related science areas like geography, which is very important in aeronautical engineering in terms of navigation and aviation. Now, you will require to have scored good grades in these subject areas. And in Kenya just now, because we are the only people offering programs we're the first people to offer a degree program in aeronautical engineering. The competition is very, very tight. First of all, ourselves, into the Bachelor of Engineering program, we have a very restricted capacity. We don't take more than 30 students into that class. So that brings in already very tight competition, 30 students a year. And yet, there are very many young people leaving our high schools who would like to come to, and for a number of areas within aeronautical engineering, we also collaborate with other departments in the university. Aeronautical engineering is a very broad-based discipline, contrary to what people think. You need knowledge from mechanical engineering, you need knowledge from civil engineering, you need knowledge from aeronautical engineering, from electrical engineering, And you also need knowledge from geospatial engineering, not counting areas like physics, chemistry, and biology. And the university has facilities in all those departments that can support the study of aeronautical engineering. Needless to say, we keep on adding on to the facilities that we have to ensure that we have a credible program that can be considered to measure up with general international standards of a person who has graduated with a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering. Now, on the human resource side, again, the institution inherited staff from the former Kenya Polytechnic, although the majority of these people could only teach at the diploma level because that is what the institution was offering at the time. In between, we have hired more staff with extensive professional experience and extensive academic experience, and these have added on to what the institution had previously. But on the other side, we have also hired young people who have just graduated with fresh bachelor degrees and master's degrees from within ourselves and even from abroad, from other universities. And we give these young people opportunity to acquire higher degrees and at the same time also to acquire the necessary experience as to be able to teach effectively as university teachers. We have a very elaborate program for aeronautical engineering to develop capacity within our staff development program, and we constantly send young graduates abroad to acquire higher qualifications.
We have a very, in fact, external reviewers to the program, international reviewers, accrediting agencies have rated the program to be of high quality in terms of its wide coverage. If they compare, for example, this program to others in the UK or United States. So that gives us the confidence that actually we're offering something unique.
Yeah, the Technical University of Kenya, almost right from the beginning, I think within our second year of existence on the degree program, already initiated very, very strong relationships with the practitioners in the aviation industry in this country. And one of the organizations we started off with almost immediately was Kenya Airways, and I can say that we have a very, very good relationship with Kenya Airways. At the international level, we have partnerships with Boeing. We have partnerships with General Electric, who themselves were the people who donated to us a whole aircraft engine here. Boeing has taken our students for attachment both in Nairobi at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and at their headquarters in Seattle in the United States. We have received, I think, people here from the Airbus company. We are working on linkages with universities in France. We have, most importantly, we have a very strong linkage with the University of Cranfield in the United Kingdom. And we work very closely with a number of airline companies at Wilson Airport.
Graduates of this program may end up working research and development, testing, parts assembly, and maintenance of aerial vehicles for both commercial and military institutions.
Kenya has the biggest economy in East Africa today, and we have one of the most vibrant aviation industry in the whole of East Africa. And to a large extent, the people who run the aviation industry in this country have had to be trained elsewhere, to be trained abroad, especially at the area of aeronautical engineering and maintenance of aircraft. And so we believe that we are going to fill a gap that is critical to the development of the economy of this country and indeed the economy of this region.
Our program is designed exactly to match those, and also we got an eye to the future. So instead of doing what we do now, we started very well, but be able to expand it to cover areas like space travel, for example, or to cover other programs, the training with piloting component, all being part of the program. It's going to be very exciting, program for the next few years. We have already got a lot of interest in the public of people who want to sponsor their children or their students to come and study the subject here.
But this is just the beginning, and we feel that this has worked very well for us, considering that this is one of the youngest programs at the Technical University of Kenya. But I should say that it is also one of our most successful programs at the Technical University of Kenya. Most of our students, I think we have graduated the third cohort from the degree program, and we can say that most of our graduates have found employment within Kenya and abroad. And so far, we are quite satisfied with the quality of graduate we are producing and the type of program we are running, even as we are working towards always improving on the program itself. The broad field of aerospace and aviation engineering can be very rewarding to those people who have the right qualifications, because it is also a very, very competitive field. And as the Technical University of Kenya, we are very proud that we are one of the few universities on the African continent offering programs in this area.
Principal Secretary, State Department of University Education and Research, Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi. Principal Secretary, State Department for Vocational and Technical Training, Dr. Julius Juan. Members of the University Council, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Francis Adull, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and pleasure that I take this opportunity to address this congregation during this momentous occasion of the 9th graduation of our alma mater. I wish to tender my warm congratulations to all graduates for this great milestone. Congratulations to the class of 2021. I joined the Technical University of Kenya in 2010 to pursue a degree in electrical and electronics engineering. It is in this great institution that I acquired the education, culture, and experiences that placed the cornerstone of a solid and firm foundation in my life. During my studies here, courses such as transmission lines and waveguides, mobile computing, and digital transmission paved a clear path for my passion in the telecommunications industry. Furthermore, I hold very fond memories of being the first runners-up during the 2011 Miss TUK annual beauty pageant, and also first runners-up during the Technovation Challenge 2014 by innovating an alcohol content calculator. Additionally, during the Tech Avenue exhibition in 2013, I exhibited an alcohol detection system that would later assist revolutionize safety on Kenyan roads through AlcoBlue. It is through such experiences here at TUK that I gained skills and experience in balancing academic rigor and extracurricular activities. Upon my graduation in 2014, I secured an internship at the Network Operations Center in Safaricom PLC, which to me was a dream come true. Thereafter, I served under various capacities in the same organization, learning and gaining experience. This enabled me to smoothly transition to the role of Access Transmission Planning Engineer in 2018, a position I've held to date. While writing this speech, I asked myself, what would encourage and motivate graduates? How can a graduate navigate through their future paths as leaders and as citizens? Here are the 6 main lessons that I have learned from my experience since I graduated. As much as academic certificates are a major milestone in one's career, employers take seriously the skills and willingness to learn and work with others. Always remember, learning never stops. Be open-minded and willing to learn from even a volunteer or internship position if the opportunity arises in any organization. As you work towards achieving your dreams and goals, experience is very critical, and in addition, patience is key. A virtue most graduates do not have. Upon graduation, many graduates expect things to work out very fast. But the reality is success is a journey and a process. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. Keep learning as technology is changing rapidly. In a few years, the technology you're applying now may be obsolete. Do not be comfortable with the degree that you are attaining today. Add certifications, CPAs, fellowships, postgraduate degrees in case an opportunity presents itself. As a woman in technology, I must mention that I have not had any major challenges at the workplace. Contrary to some of the society opinions and beliefs that female graduates struggle in male-dominated careers. You can be anything you want to be if you put in the work, work smart, be resilient, disciplined, focused, and perfect your skills. Think entrepreneurship, with or without a job. That's where financial freedom is. I run a part-time online coffee shop. I urge graduates to transform their passions into business, as you might be very surprised. Furthermore, invest as much as possible. Do not waste money, no matter how small it may seem. Take advantage of different investment opportunities, bonds and securities, the stock market, investment funds, real estate, and open that business. And remember, the biggest risk of all is not taking one. Create strong networking channels, as your network is your net worth. Many people who succeed in their careers and businesses attribute their success to strong networking channels that they have created over time. I got my first internship opportunity through a network I created in my final year here at the Technical University of Kenya, one that has since created endless opportunities. As an alumnus of this institution, I feel a great sense of pride and achievement, and would like to urge all the graduates to register as members of the Technical University Alumni Association, TUCA. The association provides a platform for alumni to give back and support its initiatives. You can join the association by registering through the alumni portal on the university website. I must note that alumni of the Technical University of Kenya have indeed been excellent ambassadors by shining across different spheres of life globally, some of whom I work with. Many are already giving back through various ways such as internships, job placements, and in addition providing mentorship to ongoing students. We would like to appeal to other alumni to join us in other areas of need that will strengthen the association and the university at large. Congratulations once again to the class of 2021. Wherever you go and in whatever you do, may the great skills and values instilled in you manifest. May you carry on the good name of the Technical University of Kenya. Thank you and God bless you.
I'll start by explaining from a personal perspective as an educator, a higher education music educator, that the opportunity to work not only with another university, another institution that is offering academic training, but also to work with partners in the industry. That was fantastic because it opened our eyes to the various other skills that we should be training for. The skills that are needed in the industry that graduates of a music program can actually fill. So that helped us to expand our program, our curriculum offerings. Then for the students, they got to learn that the industry is more than the traditional teaching and performing that they have done. So they got to learn that within that industry, there are other roles. There are managerial roles, there are organizational roles, there are arts administration roles that they didn't know that as music students they could fulfill. The partnership also ensured that in our curriculum in the universities, we embed elements of actual industry-based learning. Now, in my university, that was ongoing, but I think it was more for the engineering courses. And now it is much more strongly embedded for the arts, especially the performing arts. Another thing that I really got to appreciate, one of the strong outcomes, is the networking that the students themselves did, the participants in the projects. When they went to the festivals, when they went to the other universities, they made friends. They made friends with people not who were doing exactly what they did, but people who were doing things that are different from what they did, but which reciprocated their activities. They were able to see the industry as a big ball, and their role in making sure that this ball keeps bouncing. And I thought those are some of the very key achievements that I was able to reap from the program.
Technical University of Kenya is located in Nairobi's Central Business District. Nairobi is the heartbeat of the East African economy and a major gateway into the rest of Africa. TUK, as it's fondly known, is home to students from various countries in the region.
The Kenya Polytechnic itself was founded in 1950s, built in the present site in 1960, and given the name the Kenya Polytechnic. From that time, it was a premier institution for training technologists and technicians for Kenya, and in the early years for the whole of East Africa.
With such a rich foundation and history, the university has managed to attract a vibrant community of over 15,000 students.
as we develop our capacity in technological development in the short term, we should be looking at this country's Vision 2030, which is committed to making Kenya a technological country. That is, it should be possible for us to produce quite a good number of the things or products we need in this country. In 2007, the Kenya Polytechnic was elevated to the status of a university college, which now gave it the powers to teach at degree level, but to grant degrees of another university. As a university college, it was established as a constituent college of the University of Nairobi, which meant that it could only award degrees of the University of Nairobi, although it had powers to design its own curricula, get them approved by the University of Nairobi Senate, and then to award degrees in the name of the University of Nairobi.
By these presents, be it known that in exercise of the powers conferred upon me under the Universities Act number 42 of the year 2012, I, Mwai Kibaki, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, hereby grant the charter annexed hereto to the Technical University of Kenya. On this 15th day of January in the year of our Lord 2013. Thank you.
TUK offers an array of programs and courses in 3 faculties. The Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Faculty of Social Sciences and Technology, and the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology. The university boasts some of the best lecturers in Kenya who offer hands-on training to our students. We have state-of-the-art facilities and cutting-edge laboratories.
The way we are training our students, they are getting state-of-the-art software. The future of engineering is dependent on using the tools and techniques that engineers and manufacturers and industries using out there. So the kind of training provided at the Technical University is one which is state-of-the-art.
Our students are innovators. They graduate with skills and confidence to thrive in today's competitive job market.
So our school doesn't really limit us to just classwork. They help us get there, they help us broaden our wings, so to say. They help us get to places I don't think I would have gotten to if I wasn't here.
UK offers a special kind of a course, BTech. I studied BTech in journalism and mass communication. That BTech means you get, yes, the theory part, and in addition to that, you get the practical part. So that at the end of the 4 years, the 5 years, or the 6 years, you have the practical and the theoretical. You can easily even start up your own company for whatever you studied in.
TUK students not only excel in academics, we also encourage them to nurture their talents in other disciplines. We boast an impressive alumni who work in leading corporations in Kenya and across the world. Some of these include Kenya Airways and major airports such as JKIA. When you walk alone, you walk fast, but when you walk with others, you go further. TUK has partnered with other institutions, expanding our research and training capacity. Some of the institutions TUK is collaborating with include the following international universities: Augsburg University in Germany, Politecnico di Milano in Italy, Technical University of Munich, Tshwane University of Technology in South Africa, Southern Utah University in the US, and Leeds University in Great Britain. At TUK, we believe in corporate social responsibility and impacting communities around us positively. Our motto is education and training for the real world. The Technical University of Kenya is giving the next generation of scientists, technicians, innovators and leaders the skills they will need to leave a lasting legacy in the world.
The Technical University of Kenya was first established as the Royal Technical College of East Africa in 1961. And in January 1967, it was registered by the Ministry of Education as the Kenya Polytechnic, with an enrollment of 2,075 students. The institution's principal objective was to train in technical fields including architecture, surveying, and planning. Later, it expanded its scope to training vocational subjects such as business studies and management, hospitality and hotel management, health sciences and technology, as well as design and printing. In 2008, Kenya Polytechnic was elevated to Kenya Polytechnic University College and would offer degree courses as well as the traditional technical, vocational education and training programs. The Technical University of Kenya TUK was established through the elevation of the Kenya Polytechnic University College to full university status and awarded a charter in 2013. TUK has since held 8 graduation ceremonies. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the university held virtually the 8th and 9th graduation ceremonies. On 30th July 2021, a total of 1,400 graduates were conferred with postgraduate and undergraduate degrees and diploma certificates. This is how the ceremony proceeded.
Thank you very much. Graduates, students who have been admitted to come to the university, we want to welcome you to this last day, which is the day when the Vice-Chancellor is supposed to give his speech. So let's believe and pray as we start this session. Loving and everlasting Father, we are grateful for this morning that you have given us life. Thank you, Father, that indeed you have given us this great institution, that in it, Lord, you may bless us. We thank you for the graduates, for the students you have given unto us, that these are the students that will study in this academic year. So, Father, we commit them into your hands. We want to commit also this day into your hands. We want to commit the meeting into your hands, even as we begin. Everything that we will do, may you bless it, Lord. We thank you for the activities before us, Lord. Father, bless this institution, that Father, even as we receive these students, may we be able to help them achieve their dreams. We thank you, we bless you, for it's in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. So welcome again to this session. So at this juncture, I want to invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Paul Shiundu, to come and take over the program. Welcome, sir.
Vice-Chancellor of the Technical University of Kenya, Professor Francis Adull, Executive Deans present here with us, Dean of Students, freshers, parents and guardians, good morning. This is a special day for you freshers. We've had a one week or 5-day long orientation ceremony, Bwana Vice Chancellor, since Monday. Today is Friday, and a very special day in this program of orientation for you freshers. It is special in the sense that it is the day that you are going to be addressed by the Vice-Chancellor of the Technical University of Kenya. This is an important day and hour that you'll get to meet that person we refer to as the CEO. Bwana Vice-Chancellor, before I welcome you to address the freshers, allow me to just give you a small brief of what has transpired to date, and also I'll use this opportunity to officially introduce you to the members, to the freshers, and also the parents and guardians who may be listening in this program. But Vice-Chancellor, this orientation program, like it has always been, gives us an opportunity to talk to our freshers and give them an idea of what to expect once they join this institution of ours. We have had several officers of the university talk to the freshers on various matters that deal with their own admission into this institution. We have taken them through rules and regulations that will govern their stay within the Technical University of Kenya during the period of time that they will be studying here, Bwana Vice-Chancellor. I, in particular, talked to them about academics and social life at the at the Technical University of Kenya, and that was, I think, on the second day of this program. They have been talked to, cautioned on a number of things that bedevil many a youth in this generation, and in this, particularly this time of not just the COVID pandemic, but what they need to open their eyes to, the many challenges that they would be faced with. Bwana Vice-Chancellor, I think it is only fair for the for the freshers to realize that you, as the CEO of this institution, did not just come from the blues, that you were once a fresher. Before the VC comes to address you, I just want to take you through a series of things, achievements that your Vice-Chancellor has actually gone through. Like I mentioned before, Professor Francis Adull, or the person we are referring to as Professor, did not start his life as a professor. He was also a fresher at some time in his life, just like yourselves today. And what that is supposed to mean to you is that years later in life, as you go through this exercise, you should know that you can also become a professor or even higher. Francis Adull, and I'm dropping the term professor for now and for very good reason. Francis Adull obtained his Bachelor's of Science degree in surveying and photogrammetry in the year 1976 at the University of Nairobi. Then that was the only university in the country. He proceeded on with his further studies and obtained a Master's of Science degree in what is referred to as geodetic surveying at the University of Nairobi in 1981. He further proceeded and obtained his Doctor of Engineering in Geodesy at the University of Stuttgart in Germany in the year 1988. Now, as if that was not enough, Francis went further to class while a professor of a university and obtained another master's degree, Master of Arts in Economics, in the year 2012. In 2012, as you will learn later, Professor Adull was already here as the pioneer principal of what we refer to as the Kenya Polytechnic University College, a constituent college of University of Nairobi, that college that gave birth to the current Technical University of Kenya. Francis Adull has extensive experience as a lecturer and as a university administrator. He was first employed as a tutorial fellow in the Department of Surveying at the University of Nairobi between the years 1977 and 1981. He was later promoted to the position of lecturer in the same department in the year 1981 and served in that capacity until he was later promoted to a senior lecturer position in 1988. He was further promoted to the position of associate professor in the same department at the same university in 1994, before becoming a full professor of surveying in the year 2001. Now, I mentioned earlier on that I will be referring to him as Francis. Now that I've mentioned to you that he became a full professor in the year 2001, I will be referring to him now as Professor Francis Adull. And that is the reason that I had mentioned earlier on why I chose to refer to him as Francis. I want to tell you this. Before becoming the Vice-Chancellor of this institution, Professor Francis Adull served in many capacities as a university administrator, starting at the lowest level of university administration as chairman of the Department of Surveying at the University of Nairobi, a position that he served between the years 1991 and 1995. He was elected Dean of the Faculty of Engineering at the same University of Nairobi between the year 1990 and served between the year 1995 and 1999. He was then appointed the principal of the College of Architecture and Engineering of the same University of Nairobi between and served in that capacity between the years 1999 and 2008. When this institution was first Kenya Polytechnic, it became elevated to Kenya Polytechnic University College. And Professor Adull was appointed as the first principal of Kenya Polytechnic University College, a constituent college of University of Nairobi then, a successor of Kenya Polytechnic. Professor Adull was later appointed as the pioneer Vice-Chancellor of the Technical University of Kenya in the year 2013 when the institution became chartered, a position he holds to date after his reappointment in the year 2018. So the person who will be coming to talk to you today, I just wanted to give that background so that you know what it also takes to get these kind of positions. And I also want to know, want you to know that you are in good hands as students of the Technical University of Kenya, because you are under a CEO who has extensive experience in university management. And without much ado and spending so much time, I want to now invite, first of all, welcome Professor Francis Adull to this meeting, and now invite him to address the Technical University of Kenya, freshers of the Technical University of Kenya. And Professor Adull, before you come, I think they will do the usual sanitizing, ensuring that we comply with the COVID protocols. Thank you very much.
You forgot to mention a few other things. You should have mentioned this so that I don't have to be the one to mention.
My apologies. There are other honors that Professor Francis Adull has gotten along the way. And the most recent was when he was appointed as a member of the, this is the Association of Commonwealth Universities. This was a big honor, not just to him as an individual, but to us as an institution, because it's a very prestigious position that he occupies within the Commonwealth. Now, as freshers, you are aware that you are placed, there were a group of you, what we call Module 1, that were placed in this institution by an organization called CUPS, Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Services. I want to inform you that our Vice-Chancellor is currently a member of the board of that organization. Some of you will also be looking for financing to finance your own higher education or at this institution. And the organization HELB, Higher Education Loans Board, I'm sure means a lot to you, and you know it. I also want to say that our Vice-Chancellor currently serves in the board of the Higher Education Loans Board. That, in a way, gives us just a tiny advantage as an institution. Not of favors, but at least insight into what goes on in Higher Education Loans Board. And therefore, should you have any queries or questions, I'm sure he will be in a position to answer. And by the way, I encourage you to take advantage of this orientation program and the address by the Vice-Chancellor to throw in one or two questions that you may have related to the Higher Education Loans Board. But Vice-Chancellor, I think the sanitizing has been done. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you so that you address the freshers of your university. Karibu, Bwana Vice-Chancellor.
Thank you very much, Professor Shiundu, for introductory words. I thought you were going to spend more time probably telling us what has happened in the last few days, which you did, but I think you spent a lot more time talking about Francis Adull. Students, I think I should start from the beginning, therefore. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Deans of Faculty who are here,
distinguished professors of the university, those of you who are listening in, academic staff of the university, all staff of the university, our new students, parents and guardians, ladies and gentlemen. I'd already started, but I would like to say this. I think Professor Shundu spent a lot of time talking about myself, and usually when you listen to people talking about you, you wonder whether, first of all, whether you are the same person, because sometimes you probably don't think you know yourself so well. People know you much better than yourself. And secondly, you wonder whether you are still alive. And I'm still alive and I'm here. And he has said a lot of things about myself, and I would like to confirm to you that all of that is accurate and true. But I would like to add on one or two things for the sake of the students who are coming to university today. Students, as you can imagine, I've spent a lot of time in the university system, and in that period, I've been involved in a lot of things that are concerned with the development of the universities. And one of them, many years ago, we used to have something called Joint Admissions Board, which used to admit people like yourself into university. And in that board, I was involved in many committees, and one of them was the committee that, actually two of them, the committees that came up with your current clusterings. I've chaired that committee at least twice or three times. The cluster weights that you're using now, I think was done by a committee I chaired a few years ago. And most importantly, the actual formula that gives you the weighted cluster that brings you here, that was very original work that was done during my chairmanship. I can claim that I did the formula in 1998, and we revised it in 2011. That is what you are still using to come to university. So when you come here, you cannot deceive me that you got such cluster weights and yet you didn't get them, because I'm the one who devised the formula, so I know how it works. That was by the way. Students, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you very much to the Technical University of Kenya and congratulate you for being admitted to this very great university. And you will soon learn why we think this is a great university. It is always a great honor for a student to be admitted to university anywhere in the world. The university remains probably one of the most unique institutions ever created by mankind. And as you come to the university today to be students of the Technical University, know that you are following in the footsteps of many other people who have been university students in the past. The story of the university is much, much older than many of us usually think. The university started with the concept of the academy as espoused by a Greek philosopher, Plato, around 428 BC. That is the time he lived. And from there on, the concept of the university went down a little, because the original concept was a bit old-fashioned. In 1088, the modern university as we have it was started with the University of Bologna in Italy, which still exists. University of Bologna is considered to be the oldest university in the world. This was followed by other universities in Paris and in the University of Paris and universities in Spain. And the oldest English-speaking university in the world is Oxford, created in 1096, followed by Cambridge, created in 1209. You can see the gap between Oxford and Cambridge was over 100 years before it was agreed that another university could be created. Most of the traditions that we follow in the English-speaking world derive from Oxford to Cambridge, and many of the universities in the former British colonies derived their traditions, particularly from the University of London. Also, in the past, you needed to, for you to come to university in this country, you had to take Cambridge examinations, whether at O levels or at A levels. And that defined the university as we have it today in our country, starting with the University of Nairobi, which was created as the Royal Technical College in 1956. As the University of Nairobi was being created in 1956 as the Royal Technical College, this institution, which we call the Kenya Polytechnic, which initially was the Kenya Polytechnic and today is the Technical University of Kenya, was also created because there was a need to create or to have students to join the Royal Technical College in 1956, and so something called Kenya Technical Training Institute was established, and that is what eventually became the Kenya Polytechnic. Initially, it was part of the Royal Technical College of East Africa, and from the Kenya Polytechnic, we became in 2007 the Kenya Polytechnic University College. We admitted the very first students for degree programs here in January 2009. A very distinguished group of 128 students who came here to study for a degree in electrical engineering. I had the privilege and honor to be asked to come here as the first principal of the Kenya Polytechnic University College. I assumed my responsibilities here in November 2008, and in January 2009, we were able to admit our very first degree students. Today, this institution has slightly less than 20,000 students. That is how we have grown. Of course, as Kenya Polytechnic, which we took over, we already had students who were studying for the diploma. At that time, there were about 7,000 students studying for the diploma, and we have retained the diploma programs because this is one of the mandates we were given as a university, that if we were going to make the Kenya Polytechnic a university, it would have to retain the diploma programs. It would also have to come up with programs that were more vocational in nature than the traditional programs that you will find in universities. And so today, we not only run diploma programs the same way we were as the Kenya Polytechnic, but we also run vocational degree programs in this university. These are very, very unique types of programs that are only, or at least initially, were only found at the Technical University of Kenya. These degrees, when you come in, you will realize, and that some of you have been admitted into this is the Bachelor of Technology degree. We don't just call them Bachelor of Technology degree for fun. We call them Bachelor of Technology degrees because they are more vocationally oriented. They are focused on giving you practical skills that you can use in industry, but because we are training you in vocational skills at a higher level, we give you a degree. And you will find this across all the faculties of the university. Something about the organization of the institution. Our university is, first of all, I've jumped the gun somewhere. We became a fully fledged university in 2013, and at that time, we assumed the name, the Technical University of Kenya. And again, this was not just a name. It was supposed to communicate something very special. You will ask yourself, why didn't we call ourselves a University of Technology of Nairobi or of Kenya or something to that effect? We deliberately called ourselves a technical university. And a technical university, the interpretation or the understanding is that we are at the same time a polytechnic, we are a university of technology, and we are also a traditional university. All those three concepts rolled into one to create a technical university. But more importantly, the technical university concept is coming out due to the fact that we focus to a large extent on vocational degree programs. This is unique in this country. We were the first university to be declared as a technical university in this country. We were the first university to offer vocational degree programs in this region. Outside of the East African region, you have to go to South Africa to get vocational degree programs in their universities of technology, and chiefly the institutions that previously were called technicons. The concept that we created here as a technical university, I should tell you, has been borrowed by other countries in Africa, particularly in Ghana, where a few years ago they sent not only their very Minister for Education to come and visit this institution because they were planning to create universities like us, and Ghana today has about 10 universities of 10 technical universities, not universities of technology. They have the University of Science and Technology at Kumasi. That's a different thing. But they have over 10 universities called technical universities, just like ourselves. And if you go into their website, you will find that they're saying that they borrowed the concept from the Technical University of Kenya in particular. That is quite a good vote for us, because it shows that there is something that we have introduced in terms of the concept that we are trying to drive here in this country. Now, the university is organized into 3 faculties. We have the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, which covers everything engineering and technology and issues around the built environment in general. Then we have the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology, which is your traditional Faculty of Science in many universities. We teach in the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology 3 things. That is the pure sciences, the applied sciences, and the technologies. And then we have the Faculty of Social Sciences and Technology. And again, this is a very unique faculty to the extent that not only do we teach social sciences, but we teach social sciences with a bias towards technology. In this university, everything we teach is supposed to have a technology component. But most importantly, our programs have to have a hands-on experience component. So every student who comes to this university, if you come here to do a 1-year degree or 1-year certificate program, you will do at least 3 months of industrial attachment. Those of you who come here to do degrees, many of you will do at least 2 industrial attachments of 3 months each. That is embedded in our programs in this university. Today, we are one of the most popular universities in this country. And we believe this has happened because of the progress that we have made in the last few years. In the recent rankings of universities in this country, beginning last year, in July last year, we were ranked number 7 university in Kenya. In January this year, we were ranked number 6 university in Kenya. And then in July again this year, we were ranked number 7. We were ranked number 7 only because in January, when we became number 6, we beat 2 of the older universities, and one of them was not exactly very amused about that. So they worked very hard to make sure that we became number 6 so that we became number 7. We are very happy to be number 7 because the universities that are ahead of us, number 1 to number 6, like I always say, those are Wazee universities headed by University of Nairobi. As you can imagine, we just became a university in 2013, and probably it is not very fair that we should be expecting to beat old men all the time. But we are going to give them a run for their money as time goes on. Now, today, we have roughly 20,000 students in this university. The exact number I'm given is 19,565. Of this number, 6,229 are pursuing diploma programs, and 13,266 are on degree programs. If we look at it from the other dimension of whether Module 1 or Module 2, Module 2 students are 5,901, and Module 1 students 13,664. Why am I giving you these numbers in such exact form? So that you can see that we are giving you not fake numbers. These are real numbers. And if we look at our faculties in terms of admission this time, we have admitted 4,135 students. 1,818 have come to study in the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. That is 44% of our students being admitted this time. 1,503 have been admitted into the Faculty of Social Sciences and Technology. That is 36%. And 814 have been admitted to study in the Faculty of Applied Science and Technology. That is 20%. That is roughly the profile of our university in terms of student numbers. Now, you are going to be part of this crowd, and obviously you are anxious to know something about how are you going to fit into this environment? How exactly are you going to be taught? Traditionally, we would be teaching you face-to-face. But since last year, because of COVID-19 pandemic, we have adopted what is called blended learning mode. In the blended learning mode, the students are taught partly through face-to-face lectures, and partly we teach you virtually. We are not going to teach you virtually 100%, because we are a very practically oriented institution, and virtually all our programs have practical sessions that must be taken, and these cannot be taken in virtual mode. So the position is that all practical sessions will be taken on campus, and most of the lectures will be given in virtual mode. Most, not all of them. There are still some lectures that will be given to you on face-to-face mode. Now, we are one of the universities with relatively small class sizes. This we have kept traditionally so from the polytechnic days because of the practical nature of our programs. The largest admission we make in this university is in the Bachelor of Commerce program, where we admit 144 students every year. The reason we have this, what we consider to be this large number, is that those of you who have come to do BCom, by the time you reach your third year, you will find that you have to select a number of options, and these options sometimes run as much as being 10 options. So you can imagine if we had small classes, then some of the options will run out of students. They will have no students. So this is the largest class we have. The next large group of classes are in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering in the Bachelor of Technology programs. And here we take up to 60 students on Module 1. So I'm talking about Module 1, that is people who are admitted through KU-CCPS. So when I'm talking about 144 for BCom, those are people admitted by KU-CCPS, and these 60 are also people admitted by KU-CCPS. We still have a number of students who come to us asking to join us in Module 2, particularly in engineering programs. There are a number of students who are coming to us, leaving other programs either within ourselves or in other universities, who would rather come in to do those programs as Module 2. Whether in the, I think we have in engineering programs, we have a number of students coming in the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology, and even in the Faculty of Social Sciences and Technology itself. So the 60 is the number we have declared to be admitted through KU-CCPS. The rest of our programs are relatively small. The smallest programs go down up to 18 students only. So the average class size in this university sits somewhere just around 40 students per class. And so there is no reason for anybody to expect that you will not be able to get sufficient attention from the staff, because the classes are very small and our lecturers tend to know students by name because of that kind of size. We have one of the best student-staff ratios in the country. The average figure is 1 to 18, which by university standards is very high. 1 to 18 means 18 students for a lecturer. In the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology and in the Faculty of Social Sciences and Technology, we almost have our full staff complement. Definitely most of our departments and schools are staffed, academic staff that is, up to 90% of what we should be having. We still have some challenges with the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, where we estimate that our staff complement is about 60%. So in engineering and the built environment, we still make use of quite a number of part-time staff, but not just because we have a staff shortage as such, but we have a deliberate effort put in place in this university to invite people who are working in industry to come and teach in the university. So deliberately, we are also reluctant to fill the spaces for academic staff at 100%, so that we leave some spaces for people coming from industry to come into the classroom so that they can bring experience from industry. Now, in Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, at 60%, we still would like to expand our own internal staff to 80%, because our declared policy is that 20% of our staff positions should be taken by people from outside of the university, so that we have people from industry, as I said, bringing experience into the university. But it just doesn't work like that only. There is also the reverse orientation, the direction. We also have provision in this university that our academic staff, every member of academic staff in this university, after you have worked for 3 years continuously, we give you time, 3 months to go and work in industry. This time is paid for by the university. So during that time, you are on your salary and you are working in industry, and we discuss with industry to make sure that you are treated like any employee in that industry. This is supposed to ensure that our staff renew their experiences on a continuous basis, so that when they come to the university, they are able to teach what is also happening in industry. And we can say that this has worked relatively well. This goes on very well with the fact that every student, like I said earlier, who has come to take a 1-year course must be in industry for some time. This is something we are not just doing for fun. When you come here, students, we will insist you must complete your time in industry, and that period is usually assessed. So you just don't go to industry and louse around and expect that you will come and graduate. And we have students who have failed to graduate because they did not do their industry experience. I urge you not to take this for granted, because not every university in this country insists that students must take industrial attachment. But this is one university where this must be done. Our complement of academic staff is relatively strong. We have a very strong complement of university professors. Virtually every school in this university, and I think there are 20 schools, I forgot to mention that from the faculty, the 3 faculties, a faculty is organized into schools. And then at the school, whereas the faculty is headed by an executive dean, the school is headed by a director, and under the school there a number of departments, usually 4 departments. Currently, we have 20 schools in the university, and there is no school in the university that does not have a complement of professors. This is important, students, because it is one of the most painful experience a student can go through in a university, is that you went through the university for 3 years or 4 years or even 6 years, and you never had a chance to meet with a university professor. The university professor is the ultimate teacher in the university, and we ensure that each of our students, especially those who have come here to take degree programs, have a chance to meet with a professor in a classroom, to talk to them and to teach them. And this university has a relatively good complement of professors. Considering that we are a young university, our complement of professors is just about 60 now, which is something very, very special. We have a very strong complement of PhD qualified staff in this university, and as you know, technically the PhD is a minimum qualification you need to teach in university, but that is only by tradition. There are very, very many people who have done well as university teachers without necessarily having the PhD. And we have a large number of people here who are going to interact with you as your lecturers, as with people with a lot of experience, even though they might not have a PhD as such. But I would like to add quickly that the university, this university, has put a lot of effort in developing staff. I think we have one of the most extensive staff development programs again in this country. I can't say I know what other people are doing, but I know what we are doing, and we have a very, very strong complement of graduate assistants and tutorial fellows, people we are preparing to take over as the university teachers in the next 5, 6, 10, 15 years to come. And I believe that in the next 10 years, when most of these people are mature, the university is going to be a very, very different institution. In terms of physical space, we are not exactly a very large institution. Where we sit on Haile Selassie Avenue, we are just, here is just about 8 acres of land. But surprisingly, we are able to accommodate this large number of students, and this is thanks to our staff who have been very innovative in organizing the use of space within this campus. We have other pieces of land elsewhere outside of this space, and we are working on developing them so that we can create more space. So when you come here, you will find that we are a bit crammed in this tiny space. But please take heart. Some of the best universities in the world, especially universities of technology, are not really very large in terms of physical space. They're just about, some of them are just about our size here. So it is not the physical space that probably matters, as long as everybody can find a place to sit and work comfortably. What is most important always in a university is the quality of staff and the quality of facilities you have. And I would like to tell you students, this university has some of the best facilities you will find in your laboratories and workshops when you come here. Whether you are in sciences, or you are in engineering, or you are in the social sciences, we have made every effort to make it possible for you to interact with the best equipment that will prepare you for the world of work as you leave this university, and also just to go out to become an intelligent person who can be able to contribute to the development of this country. Now I come to examinations. After you have taken your lectures, you will be examined. We must examine you to establish whether you can be considered to have qualified with the diploma or the degree or the certificate for which you have come to learn at the university. Examinations will be taken at the end of every term. We have 4 terms in an academic year, where we strictly teach in term 1, term 2, and term 3. Term 4 is normally long vacation for the majority of students, But for those students who must take industry-based learning, you normally will take this in the fourth term. Now, before the fourth term comes, at the end of the third term, actually at the end of every term, sorry, you will have taken your examinations. So, and these examinations will be consolidated at the end of the year to give you the final mark, whether you have passed or you have failed, and you have passed at what level, etc. The examination is comprised of three main parts. There is a coursework, there are practical exercises, and there will be the written examination. So the written examination that you take at the end of the term only contributes to a part of the final mark that you will get. So if you don't pay attention to your coursework, if you don't pay attention to your practicals, you may be in trouble. Indeed, we insist that before you can take written examinations, you must have finished with your coursework and ideally passed. You must have finished with your practicals and ideally passed. Then we normally will allow you to take your examinations. There is a rule which says that you must have covered a certain percentage of your lectures before you can be allowed to get into the classroom. Is it 80%? 70? 75. So you must have attended lectures up to 75% for you to be allowed to take examinations. Now, students, I don't want us to concentrate on the 75. I would like us to concentrate on the 25, because I know many of you, wherever you are sitting, you must be saying that this is really wonderful. I only have to attend 75% of the lectures, and 25% I can go and do other things. I promise you, if you go by that rule, there are very good chances that you are going to fail. Because the 75% is only put there for legal purposes. So that when you have attended lectures for 75%, we can't stop you from doing examination. But we know that your chances of passing the examination will be considerably diminished. So don't pay attention to 75%. Attend all lectures, do your coursework, do your practicals. Now, the good news and the bad news for you. The good news is that the pass mark is 40%, which looks very small. So many of you believe that 40%, that is a good news. So the pass mark is low. But the bad news is that getting 40% in a university exam is not a walk in the park. So don't think that I only have to get 40% and everything will be all right. If you work for 40%, you might get 39, and we promise you, if you get 39, we will declare that you fail. And students have been discontinued from university for failing with 1 mark. And you will never come and negotiate with university professors that I only got 39%, and so there is only 1 mark left. Why are you just sending me away from the university? You can leave the university because you failed with 1 mark. And it works like this, students. First, if you fail about 3 subjects and you have an average mark of 40%, you have done, let us say, at the end of the year, you have done 15 subjects and you failed in 3 of them, but you got an average mark of 40%. We will allow you to do supplementary exams, which exams are supposed to be taken during the long vacation, normally before the next academic year begins. And let us say you take that exam and you pass 2 and fail in 1. We will ask you to repeat the year because we can't give you a second supplementary. So in that one which you have failed, you will repeat. When you repeat it, let us say you fail again during the repeat, then we'll give you a chance to do supplementary. When we give you a chance to do the supplementary and you get 39%, we will discontinue. We will ask you to go home. And it does not matter where you go. It is the Senate that decides whether people graduate from the university. Because on the day of your graduation, the dean will read. The dean will read, Chancellor Sir or Chancellor Madam, the following candidates whom I have the pleasure to present to you satisfied the Board of Examiners and Senate. Listen to me, the Board of Examiners and Senate, not High Court, not the Senate of the Government of Kenya. No, it is the Senate of the University of Nairobi. And if you don't fulfill that, you will never get your degree. So please, this is serious business when you come here. Take your examinations very seriously. Don't come here and wait when you have failed and then you expect that something miraculous is going to happen to yourself. Incidentally, the people who are going to examine you are your own teachers. The teachers will teach you and then they will set the exam. But they are not the people with the final word on whether you pass or not. So don't come here and the teacher tells you that don't worry, I'm not going to teach you so well, but you will all pass. The examination as set must be moderated by an external examiner who is an expert in the field. The external examiner will check whether the syllabus has been covered in the examination paper. The external examiner will check whether the correct standards are being maintained and the correct questions are being asked and the correct answers are being proposed. When the external examiner is satisfied, and we are all satisfied as university, the examination will be taken. When the examination has been taken, we shall invite the external examiner again to check that the marking has been fair or unfair. Now, this is a negative thing on our part, but this is not happening only in this university. There are many universities even in this country where lecturers will promise a student that you don't have to work very hard, you don't even have to attend my lectures, I don't even have to teach you because you are going to pass. Please, students, if you find a lecturer who is telling you that, come to the office of the Vice-Chancellor and report that person, and you will see what will happen to them. Because lecturers are required to teach all hours they are supposed to teach. And you people have come here to get knowledge and to be trained. It is not to the advantage of the name of this university. When you leave the university, you have a degree for which you know nothing about, because it spoils the name of this university. And so anybody who is cheating you that I'm going to give you good grades even when you have not studied or when they have not taught you, we are going to deal with them. So you are invited to report those kind of people to the authorities, including the Vice-Chancellor. Your social life here. The university is going to accord you immense freedom that many of you have never experienced. In this place, we don't have bells to tell you that it is now time for you to go for class. We don't even have bells to tell you that you are supposed to come and do a test. We don't even have bells to come and tell you that you are supposed to come and do an exam. You are just supposed to appear there yourself. Now, this freedom, many students, many young people coming to university for the first time are never able to deal with, because they're experiencing this for the first time. I urge you, be very careful how you manage this freedom, because if you don't, it is going to manage you. The only freedom that is directly granted to you as 100% is called academic freedom. But it is the freedom of you as a student to learn. Academic freedom is a freedom to learn. It is actually a coin with two sides. One side says the freedom of the student to learn. The other side says the freedom of the teacher to teach. That freedom you should stick to. But the other freedoms you have to manage carefully. Otherwise, they will manage you. And I'm sure that my colleagues who spoke to you earlier, under the direction of Professor Shundu, and I wish to appreciate this, they told you about drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and you need to be very careful about sexually transmitted diseases. We have lost students to these three things in a big way, and we continue to manage many students here who are suffering from drug problems and alcohol problems. Students, just know this. When you have drug and alcohol problems, and I'm sure Dr. Kodek must have told you something about this, you will go to a mental hospital, because drug and alcohol problems are considered to be mental diseases. That is why you go to a place where they treat people with mental problems. And these are some of the most difficult things to treat a mental situation. As for sexually transmitted diseases, HIV is still with us and has not left. So students, be very careful about this. Be very careful about this. I forgot to mention another thing. When you read in our papers, there is something called sexually transmitted marks. The press is always talking about this, saying this about universities. And I try to caution you indirectly by telling you that anybody who promises you that they're going to give you marks without studying, that person is cheating you. And things like those marks happen through this process. And by the way, when we talk about sexually transmitted marks, people think about a man lecturer and a woman student. No, it's not just like that only. It happens also in the world where we live today, of woman lecturer and man student. Then there are also woman lecturer and woman student. Then there are also man lecturer and man student. You see, it is a four-dimensional thing. So students, be very careful. I listened to a sermon by a bishop a few years ago where he said, when a student has got a degree through sexually transmitted marks, what do you think that graduate is going to be? What do you think their profession is going to be? Their profession is going to be a profession around sex, because that is what they learned in the university. So students, be very careful. So I've talked about drug abuse, alcohol abuse, HIV, and then sexually transmitted marks. Why am I talking about sexually transmitted marks and the social life? Because that is not academic. That is not academic. That is social life. So you need to be careful about it, students. Then, COVID-19 is with us. And that is why I'm addressing you in this manner. Under normal circumstances, students, you would have been in the University Assembly Hall, and the Vice-Chancellor would be talking to you from there, live, face to face. But we have to do it this way because of COVID-19. The university has done everything possible to make sure that we are COVID-19 compliant. And I invite you to come to university, and we have agreed that next week, all of you should get a chance to come to university so that you can visit your university physically, because at least like 30% of your time is going to be spent out listening to lectures online. So next week, we expect you to be able to come to university to interact with your various schools, interact with your lecturers and professors, and the professors and the lecturers are going to tell you a little more about the disciplines you have come to study. During that time, you will be able to see the measures we have put in place in the university to try to deal with the COVID-19 situation. I am sure Dr. Kodek, talking to you in the course of the week, emphasized to you the protocols of going about university to ensure that we don't spread COVID-19 to so many of us. This is a very, very small place, extremely congested, and we are very sensitive about how we deal with COVID-19 situation. I cannot emphasize this anymore. Then students, we have, I am sure that the people who are dealing with accommodation spoke to you as well. TUK was really never built as an accommodation-oriented university. We grew up from the Polytechnic. The Polytechnic in its heydays was really never a residential institution. Most people who used to come to study here came from industry. And there were people who were already working, and there wasn't a very big need for people to stay in the university. Unfortunately, by the time we became a university, there was the government policy which de-emphasized establishment of student accommodation in the universities. It was felt that the resources that were available should be used in providing academic facilities more than providing accommodation. And so, as much as we have space which could be used to extend our accommodation facilities, this has not been possible, largely because of that policy, but largely because we are still a growing institution. Nevertheless, we have a very strong accommodations department which helps you to find accommodation within hostels that are around the university. And Nairobi has very many hostels that can accommodate students, and fortunately, a large number of our students have been able to find accommodation in good places, and we're hoping that the same will apply to yourselves. The accommodation we have in our hostels is extremely limited, and we try to restrict this to, first of all, first years, and most importantly, students with disabilities. But the accommodation department is sensitive to all of this, and any situation that requires special attention can always come all the way to the office of the Vice-Chancellor. Finally, I would like to say something about societies and games and sports. We have a number of societies in the university, and again, I believe that the Dean of Students already mentioned this to yourselves. And you are invited to join these societies. We have a number of sports activities. This university is very compressed in terms of space. Actually, we don't even have a playing field. But you will be surprised that we do very well in sports in this country. We have our own students who are playing in national teams, whether you are looking at rugby, you are looking at basketball, you are looking at football. There are TUK students in there. We have a number of indoor activities, including things like chess. And for the last few years, I think this university has produced chess champions for this country who have even represented us abroad in international competitions. So the students have been very creative and have organized themselves to make sure that sports goes on in this university. Whether you are talking about, like I said, hockey, basketball, handball, and whatnot, you will find that we are in there. And here I really want to appreciate the efforts of our sports department, because for a university that does not have a playing field, and yet we are in the forefront in producing some of the best sports people for this country, this should be a compliment to us. Students, I am not able to say everything that I could have said, but I would like to tell you this. The office of the Vice-Chancellor is always open to yourselves, and as long as you follow the right protocol, you can access the Vice-Chancellor. Parents, those who are listening in, as much as COVID came and made things difficult for us, there are certain positive things it brought about. One of them is this address. Because through this address, I'm able to reach you parents. Under normal circumstances, I would have been talking to students only. But I'm able to reach you parents and guardians through this. Before COVID came in, we tried to have actually a special orientation for parents. I think, Professor Shundi, you can remember. We had a special orientation for parents where the Vice-Chancellor would come and address the parents and guardians independently. But COVID came in, and now we come through this formula, And I believe that through this, maybe we are able to reach many of you. We are going to have, once I'm finished, which I'm finishing in the next few minutes, once I'm finished with this address, we are going to have a session to interact with students. But I would also be very happy to receive comments from yourselves, parents who are listening. So the question time is not just going to be restricted to students, but also to yourselves. So we will be happy to speak to you as well. And I want to tell you this, the university is open to yourself anytime as a parent. You can come here, ask questions about how your child is doing, and you can come all the way to the office of the Vice-Chancellor, as long as you follow the right protocol. So, thank you very much for even listening to me. This is, it looks like Professor Shundu has remembered something that I forgot. Yeah, I mentioned this indirectly. I'm just being reminded that freshers, you are expected to be on campus for 1 week next week to acclimatize yourselves with our processes of blended learning and knowing your environment generally. I said that. So beginning Monday, 8 o'clock, please come to university, find your department or your school or your faculty, and begin to interact, like I said, with your lecturers and professors and all the staff who are going to be in charge of yourselves. And then they are going to give you details on how lectures are going to happen. Like I said, not all lectures are going to be virtual. Some of them are going to be face-to-face. Some of them will be, of course, virtual. Students, parents, guardians, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to me. I will now be available for the next few minutes to take any questions and listen to any comments that you might have. Thank you. Just to be sanitized.
Thank you very much, Bwana Vice-Chancellor, for the address to the freshers and the parents and guardians. The way the question and answer sessions have been organized, Bwana Vice-Chancellor, is that the students are able to post their questions online and they are received by our secretariat, who then direct those questions to various units that are responsible. And usually what happens is that they get these responses almost real time. But I have a few here, or one or two, that I'm sure the students would like to hear from you. One of them is, one of the questions being asked here is, can diploma students apply for help? I'm sure that is arising from the fact that we mentioned earlier on that you happen to be a member of a board member to help. The other questions here being asked, actually, some have already been addressed by various units. For just as an example, Bwana Vice-Chancellor, there was a question directed, I think, to the Dean of Students, and this has been responded to, or if it hasn't, it will. And it's basically, are the hostel rooms shared? And if yes, how many people share the rooms? I think that question has been responded to, just like I'd mentioned. Yeah. So, but Vice-Chancellor, that at least for now, that is
that question of diploma students and so forth.
Exactly. The others have actually been sorted out or will be sorted out by various units. Okay. Thank you.
You know, you keep on wiping this. Yes, diploma students may apply for help loan. This is now standard for all students taking diploma programs in this country, and whether Module 1 or Module 2. And so you are free to apply just as much as degree students are also free to apply. And again, I would like to say that the university has an admissions office which looks after issues relating to help. So if anybody has any questions about how to apply for help loan, you can always get to the admissions office. Of course, I can also help by virtue of the fact that I'm a board member there. But most of these things can be handled very well by the admissions office. So students, yes, you apply. You are coming to do a diploma. You can always apply for help loan. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, these questions are coming in and it's kind of like continuous. But I just want to give you a clue over and above what you've just responded to, Vice-Chancellor, the kind of questions they are asking, just out of interest. For instance, how do we access and sign the nominal roll as evening students? That has been responded to. Another one says, my mode of study has changed from part-time to regular, and with this change, I am not able to sign the nominal roll. Again, Vice-Chancellor, that has been responded to, and the student has been advised on how to respond, how to get around that. Another one is, I have downloaded my timetable, but I still do not understand it. And I think that is one of the reasons. You did indicate that on next week, when they are here on the ground, some of these things can be sorted out. How can I get my timetable? Again, that has been responded to. What are the list of requirements for mechanical engineering students? Again, details of those will be available to them once they are here. Can I access my timetable before paying full school fees? They have been told categorically, at the moment, as freshers, we expect full fees payment. That is what will guarantee that 100% process of registration. So these are the kind of questions they are asking Vice-Chancellor, and they are being responded to. What we have done differently this time around is that as they post these questions, like I said, they are being directed to the responsible units, and whoever is doing the distribution, of course, is the communications department, and the responses are being given instantly as they come. Or if there's any recommendations being made, again, that is also being communicated. So with that, then, if there are any other questions, and may I say this, this is not the end of it. I think the online, you are given a portal through which you can continuously bring in your questions as they come. And I'm sure the communication that you received earlier on from the Registrar Academic did actually indicate that bring in your questions through a web portal, and those questions will continuously be responded to. So please, just take note that that is available to yourselves. And with that, then, I want to basically say thank you very much for listening to the Vice-Chancellor's address. And this goes to both the freshers as well as the parents and guardians.
Yeah, there's a question I need to respond to.
Oh, okay. So another question. Yeah.
There is a parent who is asking that my son is underage and can't apply for help. I'm financially unable. Please assist. Can the university guide me to other sponsors? Now, Thank you very much for this question. I was not addressing ourselves as Higher Education Loans Board today, and that is why I didn't respond to it. But this is one of the things we have tried to deal with at the board, that is at the Board of Help, as recently as on Monday this week, because it is a concern to many parents that the students are underage and they cannot apply because they don't have an ID and so forth. What we have come to consider is that the students should still be able to apply for help loan, and when it comes to the part of identity card, then there will be somebody else who will stand in for the student until they become of age. So you should apply to help loan, and if you have any challenges, you can get to me directly, and I will be able to know whom to put you in charge with at the Higher Education Loans Board to assist you. So you should not fail to apply. Do apply if you feel that you need help assistance. And if I can tell you, roughly 80% of all students who apply for help loan, actually 90%, 90% get supported, and the total number of students who get supported through help is about 80%. The overall number of students in public universities, about 80% of them get supported by help, and 90% of the students who apply succeed in getting help loan. So we have agreed at the help board that students should not be disadvantaged because they are underage, they don't have ID. There should be somebody standing in for them so that they can still get their loan. Thank you.
So, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Executive Deans, parents, freshers, thank you for being there, listening, and participating. Possibly just as we conclude, I may wish to just emphasize 3 points. One, which has been a common question from the beginning when we began on Monday, is how do we sign the nominal roll? This has kept on coming back to us. So the nominal roll is available on the portal, students portal. So once you get to your students portal, you should be able to sign the nominal roll. And we emphasized that it is mandatory that you sign the nominal roll because through it we are able to account for you even as a student. And then two, I've been asked to just point out that we have, as a university, we have received 2 students who are deaf and dumb. And we have made arrangements how these students will be taught. Two of them, one is in health records, and we have our sign language interpreters who will be helping these students. Yesterday, we received another student who is unable to write totally. So all through his studies, he has always been assisted to do exams. And he was guided, he's written a letter to the Vice-Chancellor for further guidance. So we are also therefore accommodating all these types of students. So otherwise, once again, thank you very much for participating and being there. So we want to close this session and then really welcome you to be there next week, engage your directors of schools, your academic team leaders, and the faculty that will be there to assist you. We are all there to help you so that you have an easy settling into the university. So let's pray even as we finish. Father in heaven, we are grateful once more that you have brought us to this conclusion. Thank you for guiding us through this process. We want to commit the rest of the day into your hands, praying, Lord, that even as we begin Monday, the sessions that are before us, May you give us wisdom and strength. Thank you for the new students you have given to us. Help us that we shall mentor them, we shall guide them, we shall help them, Lord, to achieve the purpose for which they have come to this university. Continue to bless this university. Help us to go to the place, in the direction and to the point that we desire to reach, Lord. We thank you, we bless you, for it's in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. So thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this session.
The Technical University of Kenya was first established as the Royal Technical College of East Africa in 1961. In January 1967, it was registered by the Ministry of Education as the Kenya Polytechnic, with an enrollment of 2,075 students. The institution's principal objective was to train in technical fields including architecture, surveying, and planning. Later, it expanded its scope to training vocational subjects such as business studies and management, hospitality and hotel management, health sciences and technology, as well as design and printing. In 2008, Kenya Polytechnic was elevated to Kenya Polytechnic University College and would offer degree courses as well as the traditional technical, vocational education and training programs. The Technical University of Kenya TUK was established through the elevation of the Kenya Polytechnic University College to full university status and awarded a charter in 2013. TUK has since held 8 graduation ceremonies. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the university held virtually the 8th and 9th graduation ceremonies. On 30th July 2021, a total of 1,400 graduates were conferred with postgraduate and undergraduate degrees and diploma certificates. This is how the ceremony proceeded.
By the powers bestowed upon me by the provisions of the Universities Act 2012 and the subsequent amendments thereto of 2014 and 2016, the Charter of the Technical University of Kenya 2013, and the University Statutes 2013, and Statute number 15 and Statute number 41, I declare this a congregation of the Technical University of Kenya.
It is my pleasure and great honor to welcome you, together with other distinguished guests present here, parents, guardians, and the 2021 graduates watching us remotely from the comfort of their homes, to the 9th virtual graduation ceremony of the Technical University of Kenya. Madam Pro-Chancellor and Acting Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you this year's valedictorian, the student with best overall academic performance in the university. But before I do so, allow me to make some few remarks about this year's valedictorian. Madam Pro-Chancellor and Acting Chancellor, this year's valedictorian is Mr. Douglas Kariuki Mundia. Mr. Douglas Kariuki Mundia was born in Nairobi on 19th May 1998. Douglas attended Elijah Kagiri Primary School, where he scored 344 points out of a possible 500 marks in the 2011 KCPE examinations. In the year 2011, Douglas was admitted to Chania Boys High School, from where he sat his KCSE examinations and scored a grade B+ of 72 points. Douglas was later admitted to this great institution, the Technical University of Kenya, to study Bachelor of Technology in Applied Chemistry, Industrial Chemistry option. Douglas has emerged as the best overall degree graduate in the class of 2021 by obtaining a first-class honors degree with an average mark of 80.2%. Please join me in welcoming Douglas to deliver his valedictorian speech. Karibu sana, Bwana Douglas Mundia.
The past 4 years have certainly been tough, but now we are here to celebrate our academic achievements and the journey we have embarked on towards our future destinations. Indeed, with self-discipline and dedication, we can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Fellow graduates, we have grown together, not only academically, but also in character and wisdom, forging new relations, forging new friendships, and rekindling others with fear that disappear forever. We have spent countless hours studying for our tests, encouraging each other in intense workshop and making memories. Today marks the end of one extraordinary chapter of our lives and the beginning of another. Going forward, we know there will be obstacles to overcome. Fortunately, we have each other and the tools to forward ahead. We may stumble and even fall, but we will always pick ourselves back up. And if we ever see someone struggling, let us be kind and help them get back on their feet. Fellow graduates, we have different backgrounds and opportunity to gain, but we are living as proud students with a common goal to be successful. When you live here today, be proud of what you have accomplished and celebrate your academic victory. Congratulations, class of 2021, you have done it.
Madam Pro-Chancellor and Acting Chancellor, Catherine Maina graduated from the Technical University of Kenya with a degree in Electrical and Electronics Engineering in the year 2014. Upon graduating from the Technical University of Kenya, Catherine secured an internship at Safaricom PLC at the Network Operations Center, after which she proceeded to become an enterprise technical support intern. She then joined the Safaricom Graduate Management Trainee Program, an opportunity that catapulted her to be employed as a fixed access engineer, a position that she held for a period of 3 years. In 2018, Catherine assumed a new role, Access Transmission Planning Engineer, a position she holds to date. While employed at Safaricom PLC, Catherine has achieved many feats, which include, she's been awarded 4 company awards, such as the prestigious Safaricom ECO awards and additionally in sport awards. She is in charge of providing network access through Universal Service Fund, USF, to remote areas in the North Rift region. Last year, she was part of a team that was involved in a project to take fiber to the Kenya's northern frontier. She has worked on automating fiber planning, design system, and digitized existing network infrastructure. She has contributed towards automating the process of generating fiber. She serves as a Tech Sauti champion, representing the network planning and design department, where they plan yearly activities and awards of technology division at Safaricom. Catherine was involved in the Safaricom 47-in-1, a program involved with transforming students' lives through the 47 counties by equipping schools with computer laboratories. Catherine also works with young and aspiring engineers under various mentorship programs, such as Women in Technology, intended to make them better engineers and prepare them on how to face challenges they could encounter in the real world.
I wish to tender my warm congratulations to all graduates for this great milestone. It is in this great institution that I acquired the education, culture, and experiences that placed the cornerstone of a solid and firm foundation in my life. During my studies here, courses such as transmission lines and waveguides, mobile computing, and digital transmission paved a clear path for my passion in the telecommunications industry. Furthermore, I hold very fond memories of being the first runners-up during the 2011 Miss TUK annual beauty pageant, and also first runners-up during the Technovation Challenge 2014 by innovating an alcohol content calculator. Additionally, during the Tech Avenue exhibition in 2013, I exhibited an alcohol detection system that would later assist revolutionize safety on Kenyan roads through AlcoBlue. It is through such experiences here at TUK that I gain skills and experience in balancing academic rigor and extracurricular activities. As much as academic certificates are a major milestone in one's career, employers take seriously the skills and willingness to learn and work with others. Always remember, learning never stops. Be open-minded and willing to learn from even a volunteer or internship position if the opportunity arises in any organization. As a woman in technology, I must mention that I have not had any major challenges at the workplace. Contrary to some of the society opinions and beliefs that female graduates struggle in male-dominated careers, you can be anything you want to be if you put in the work, work smart, be resilient, disciplined, focused, and perfect your skills. Think entrepreneurship, with or without a job. That's where financial freedom is. I run a part-time online coffee shop. I urge graduates to transform their passions into business, as you might be very surprised. Create strong networking channels, as your network is your net worth. Many people who succeed in their careers and businesses attribute their success to strong networking channels that they have created over time. I got my first internship opportunity through a network I created in my final year here at the Technical University of Kenya, one that has since created endless opportunities. As an alumnus of this institution, I feel a great sense of pride and achievement and would like to urge all the graduates to register as members of the Technical University Alumni Association, TUCA. The association provides a platform for alumni to give back and support its initiatives. You can join the association by registering through the alumni portal on the university website.
The Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Education, today represented here by CAS Honorable Mumina Bonaya, the Principal Secretary who should have been with us in absentia, the Chair of Council and Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Halima Zado, members of Council, distinguished academic staff of the university, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure to welcome all of you to the presence of the Technical University of Kenya as we celebrate the 9th graduation ceremony. We appreciate that you have found time out of your busy schedule to join the university community today in making this milestone occasion within the campus. As was the case with last year's event, we are celebrating this ceremony under strict adherence to the prevailing COVID-19 protocols. On behalf of the Senate and the University Management Board, I convey our sincere congratulations to you, together with your parents, guardians, and sponsors, as the case may be. You have demonstrated a rare character of resilience and hard work, which is consistent with innate discipline. Indeed, the general student population has continued to exercise maturity and dialogue in handling the challenges that have come about with the COVID-19 pandemic. In line with the prevailing COVID-19 containment efforts, the university has embraced blended learning, where a majority of the training is done online. The students come to campus only where it is absolutely necessary. This has ensured that the academic calendar continues uninterrupted. The university has also witnessed improved efficiency in syllabi delivery and assessment. The university increased its investment in ICT infrastructure to support this endeavor. We are happy to note that both the lecturers and students have adapted well and fully into the new mode of learning. Cabinet Secretary, Madam Pro-Chancellor, and distinguished guests, the Technical University of Kenya has taken deliberate steps to enhance its collaborative networks over the years. These efforts have greatly improved our research output and community engagements. In this regard, our standing on the global academic stage has greatly improved. In the recent and latest webometric rankings, the university moved to position 7 nationally. It was also ranked position 140 in Africa. This global evaluation demonstrates that the university has come of age and is competing favorably amongst its peers. As you leave the gates of the Technical University of Kenya, you will be an alumnus or an alumna of this university. And corresponding to that, this university will be your alma mater. In literal translation, alma mater means nourishing mother. It does not matter how your mother looks like. They will always be your mother. And it is your responsibility to promote and uplift the name of your mother wherever you go. That is what the Technical University of Kenya will be to yourself.
I am delighted to join you on this auspicious occasion of the 9th graduation ceremony of the Technical University of Kenya. When COVID-19 was declared in Kenya, uncertainty across the learning sector was almost palpable. There is this saying about necessity being the mother of invention.
Schools that could afford, as well as universities, quickly figured out how to continue operating and adopted virtual learning. Although it was expensive to many, out of necessity, families bought computers and connected them to internet to make it possible for virtual learning. I'm pleased to note that